Gami Chicken, formed by a group of Monash Uni students, is a chain of stores bringing the taste of Korean cuisine to Australia through their fried chicken. Today we'll be analysing whether or not Gami Chicken has a sustainable competitive advantage within the market through an insight into both the internal and external environments, as well as their business level strategy and structure. First, we will be looking at the internal environment.
In order to determine whether Gami Chicken has a sustainable source of competitive advantage, we must first understand what is meant by a competitive advantage. Grant describes a competitive advantage as any source of difference between one organisation and its competitors that will assist that organisation to achieve its objectives. When analysing the internal environment, we must analyse resources, capabilities, core competencies, and the way in which they interact. Resources are bundled to create capabilities, and capabilities that are best performed by the organisation become core competencies, which help achieve a competitive advantage. Resources refer to inputs into a firm's production process. Tangible and intangible resources exist and differentiate. Tangible resources are observed and quantified within the organisation, and in Gami's situation include things like free-range chicken, herbs, spices, store fit-outs, vegetables, beers, etc. Whereas intangible resources refer to things that are hard to analyse for competition due to the fact that they are intangible and sometimes hidden. These things for Gami include things like an emphasis on quality people to attract quality consumers, and an emphasis on a sharing food experience. Capabilities refer to a combination of tangible and intangible resources used to complete organisational tasks. For Gami, the combination of things like chicken, herbs, spices, store fit-outs, along with an intangible emphasis on sharing food as an experience, creates the capability of providing fried chicken for shared consumption. Core competencies refer to capabilities that serve as a competitive advantage. Gami's capability of providing unique frying techniques leads to quality fried chicken which separates Gami from its competitors such as KFC and Nando's. Analysing the internal environment also includes a value chain analysis as described by Hansen. A value chain analysis helps companies understand the parts of their operations that create value and those that do not. The value chain analysis includes the following primary activities. Supply chain management, which involves sourcing and conversion of raw products. Gami is known as a Korean fried chicken store. However, all their ingredients try to stay as local as possible. Their chemical free-range chicken comes from Lalonga in Victoria. Their vegetables, fruits, herbs and cheeses are also manufactured locally to high quality. In addition to this, their beers are also brewed locally within Victoria. Operations refers to activities that efficiently change raw materials into products. Gami chicken is cooked to order. This involves the process in which fat under the chicken skin is rendered out during the frying process, making it paper thin and lean, but also extra crispy to enjoy. Distribution refers to activities that get the final product to the consumer. Korean culture is entrenched in sharing food and enjoyment as a community. Gami made the decision to not become a fine dining experience, but rather to become an experience for Melburnians to enjoy together in a communal setting. This materialised as creating humble shops as opposed to extravagant fit-outs. Marketing refers to segmenting consumers on their characteristics and identifying new consumers. Gami recognised a unique opportunity in that 90% of Melburnians do not know much about their brand. They believe that low brand awareness provides good opportunity for them to grow even further. They believe they can do this by acquiring prime locations to meet new customers. Whilst they don't want to follow the big market leaders such as KFC into the locations in which they produce, they believe that if they can analyse what markets reflect what areas of Melbourne, They can carefully acquire prime locations to meet these new customers. Follow-up refers to activities to identify how to increase value for customers. Gami believes it can create Australian-centric tastes by balancing the fact that it is still a Korean-style fried chicken with Australian and more specifically Melburnian tastes which we enjoy. The secondary activity in the value chain analysis is human resources, which ultimately involves managing human capital. At the end of the day, Gami has identified that people make the difference. The food is the foundation and it has to be of a high enough quality to attract customers, but what makes the difference when competing against other organisations is the people you are able to hire and therefore attract as consumers.
For this section, we'll be focusing on evaluating the principal industry characteristics in which the organisation operates. So, for example, the external environment. The political aspect of the pestle analysis can be explained through the competitive forces model, which predicts that falling entry barriers due to government deregulation results in new industry competition and lower profit rates, which is a threat for Gami Chicken. When considering Gami Chicken, government incentives such as the tax break on small business, which offers a tax write-off for costs less than $20,000, can increase entry by lowering the cost of expansion. In the case of the Porter's Five Forces model, Gami Chicken has an increased bargaining power as more funds are made available by tax breaks. Porter explains that understanding the competitive forces provides the underlying causes of an industry's profitability and provides a framework that allows them to forecast competition over time. Several years of expansion, customer referrals, and sound business principles meant that in less than 3 years, Gami Chicken went from a fledgling startup with $30,000 in debt to a restaurant grossing more than $3 million in its third year. When looking into the area that Gami Chicken first entered into, Helix personas can give an insight into the socio-economic status of the market and insights into the market characteristics. It can be seen that the 100 leading lifestyles is a good representation of the Carnegie area. It focuses on high-income families who typically own their own home in the inner suburbs with an approximate household income of $128,000 per year. With rise or high-income areas, it allows businesses such as Gami Chicken to make assumptions that consumers are likely to spend more on purchases like takeaway meals because they have a high disposable income. As social factors take into consideration the individuals and consumers of a market, it is important that Gami Chicken were able to meet the needs of their market, whilst also introducing something foreign that customers may have never experienced previously. As a result, Gami Chicken would have taken into account the population demographic, along with lifestyle trends. Although Gami Chicken is a Korean-based company, ensuring that the standards were aligned with that of their market meant that they stayed local when sourcing produce. Using locally grown ingredients delivered fresh every day meant that it attained a reputation amongst the socially aware community surrounding them. Increasing health consciousness is an important social factor for Gami Chicken to recognise, as it lessens demand for takeaway chicken establishments, particularly those that serve chicken products with a high fat content, such as fried chicken. This can therefore prompt consumers to substitute industry products for healthier food options. Convenience is the industry's main attraction. Industry players typically target time-poor students and young professionals by opening stores in retail locations close to schools and busy commercial areas. Some consumers increase their leisure time by replacing home-cooked meals with takeaway or fast food. This has benefited the industry as takeaway chicken shops have captured a share of growing demand from these consumers. Over the past 5 years, small takeaway chicken shops have been facing strong external competition from supermarkets such as Coles and Woolworths that have increased their range of ready-to-eat meals, which should be a consideration for Gami Chicken when looking to expand, considering that supermarket chains attract such considerable foot traffic and have easily incorporated ready-to-eat meals as part of the assortment of goods they already retail. With technology ever changing and consumers ordering online more than visiting in store, it is of utmost importance to ensure that any service industry maintains the trends of technological advances. In the case of Gami Chicken, their delivery service is limited, however still available to the radius of Uber Eats and Foodora. This adaptation of external avenues is what increases awareness and leads to a greater success for Gami. Legal factors can include employment regulations such as pay rates, bonuses, patent infringements, health and safety regulations, etc. Whilst all of these aspects may not be relevant to Gami Chicken, considering their involvement in the food and alcohol sector, they should be mindful of legalities such as the Food Safety Standards Act, the Food Act 1984, Occupational Health and Safety Act, and the Victorian Commission for Gambling and Liquor. We have chosen to measure strategic groups by using key success factors such as number of stores against reach, and have acknowledged Gami's major competitors to be KFC, Nando's, Red Rooster, Aporto, Charcoal Chicken, Schnitz, Darin Melbourne, and the Sparrows Melbourne Sydney. A SWOT analysis can be used in a strategic business plan to identify both internal and external factors. Without going into too much detail, we've acknowledged their main strength to be their first mover advantage in Melbourne, a weakness to be the average cost of a meal compared to substitutes, an opportunity to expand nationwide, and a threat to be increased competitors. A TOES analysis was performed and goes beyond a SWOT to identify strategies to overcome weaknesses and threats by suggesting techniques to implement for future success. A SO would be to use their superior quality of fried chicken to expand the number of stores nationwide. An ST might be to make use of their current first mover advantage in Melbourne and their established brand name to infiltrate the Australian market above their rival competitors. A WO could consist of being more aware and therefore responsive to the social factors such as heightened health consciousness through the means of offering healthier Korea-style dishes. A WT could be using the likes of Uber Eats and other food delivery services such as Menulog to create a heightened brand presence and increase the barriers of entry in an attempt to reduce competition.
Business level strategy is the core strategy that a company creates in order to create differences between the firm and those of its competitors in the product market. To position itself differently, Gami Chicken must decide whether it intends to perform activities differently or to perform different activities. The firm's business level strategy is a deliberate choice about how it will perform the value chain's primary and secondary activities to create unique value. Of the 5 competitive advantage approaches, a broad differentiation strategy would be the most effective choice of competitive advantage for Gami Chicken. It is seeking to differentiate the company's product offering from competitors with the introduction of superior attributes that will appeal to a broad spectrum of buyers. The most successful approaches to differentiation are those that are difficult for rivals to duplicate. This is extremely important for Gami Chicken to achieve in order to ensure that they maintain a sustainable differentiation advantage in the long term. While it is likely that competitors will in time copy almost any tangible product attribute that Gami Chicken provides, the best way to ensure competitive advantage is by creating complex, intangible attributes such as company reputation, long-term relationships with the consumers, and a strong brand image, which are all much harder to imitate. By incorporating features that make a distinctive product offering, such as combining beer, a beloved beverage of Australians, and fried chicken that has been made with high-quality cooking methods, this draws an interest to consumers wanting to try something different. With Gami Chicken targeting the correct market of consumers that are willing to try new experiences, they are able to use high prices as a form of differentiation as it sets itself apart from cheap fast food options. By providing high quality products and a unique dining experience, they are able to command a price premium that is considered reasonable to consumers for the overall service. Uniqueness drivers are integral to achieve differentiation. Gami Chicken should be striving for high quality customer service compared to competitors in the takeaway food market. Seeking high quality inputs, such as using local suppliers to ensure the community feels supported, as well as knowing where their produce is coming from, are all going to enhance the differentiation for Gami Chicken. Differentiation is best suited in the case of Gami Chicken. This is because they satisfy a range of buyers' needs as they appeal to a diverse market group. Consumers also see value in the product as they are wanting better quality fast food. When Gami Chicken entered the market, there were few rival firms that followed a similar approach. Therefore, they set themselves apart. However, this is also a pitfall as relying on simple product attributes such as fried chicken, it can make it very easy for rival companies to copy, and this is already happening for Gami Chicken. Internally, the differentiation strategy reflects the core competencies, as Gami's fried chicken is unique compared to competitors. While Korean barbecue chicken was a hit, Korean fried chicken hadn't been introduced in Australia until Gami came along. The sourcing of local ingredients through local suppliers also creates a positive brand image, as they show support for the community. The higher quality frying techniques through quality control operations also ensures the flavours separate themselves apart from regular fried chicken. Finally, the activities used to bring people together through a strong link to Australian culture of food sharing strengthens their impact as a new type of restauranting. Externally, economic differentiation in the case of Gami Chicken is that they are using a price premium to draw in consumers as they view this product as superior in quality and want to strengthen the image the company is trying to create. Casual, yet cultured. However, not all consumers can justify paying a premium for food that can also be purchased at KFC for less. This is where choosing specific locations that have consumers with a disposable income is integral to the success of each restaurant. Social differentiation is ensuring that they meet the needs of the target market by standing out from similar competitors. This has been done by targeting the consumers that are wanting fresh and fast food and ensuring they maintain this image. Social awareness is an important aspect of consumer value. Therefore, Gami Chicken needs to ensure consumers feel relevant and create a sharing culture, which will help to distinguish themselves from other franchises.
Whelan says that in order for a strategy to be successfully implemented, it must be made action-orientated, done through a series of procedures and programs. So in this section, we will be analysing and assessing the structure of Gami Chicken through its chosen structure and benchmarking. In terms of structure, links can be made between Gami Chicken and the multi-divisional structure. This is because the CEO and corporate level of the structure can be linked to the 4 founders of the company and each different division being the individual franchises. Advantages of this model is that each franchise is able to also adopt its own structure best suited to that particular store, but ultimately aim to achieve the goals set by the corporate level. Each franchise then has the capability to alter the structure based on the demographics and social factors at a given time. Disadvantages to such structure is that its decentralized nature gives room for bad judgments of individual franchisees, which can lead to a loss of control and potential loss of set standards. However, Gami has stated that they want each experience to be unique, so the structure perfectly fits for their visions in the future. Benchmarking allows a business to compare itself to its competitors within the market. In terms of Gami Chicken, we recognise that it operates within the takeaway chicken shop industry, which helps us to determine what we believe to be the key success factors. The key success factors we have recognised include the number of stores a business has, the amount of yearly revenue earned, the reach it has including customer awareness, and the promotional deals it offers also gaining customer awareness. Based on these KSFs, we believe KFC is currently the market leader. While we also recognise this is a much bigger business compared to Gami, we use it as a benchmark to recommend improvements. To become the market leader, Gami should continue to expand through creating more franchises, which will then in turn expand their reach and customer awareness. Creating promotions to get customers experiencing their food will also allow them to show off their differentiations and to entice their customers to their stores. Overall, the structure implemented by Gami is successful at adding to their value and competitive advantage. Through the analysis, we believe that Gami Chicken does have a sustainable competitive advantage within the market. However, to ensure that they retain this, they must continue to differentiate themselves from their competitors through their recipes and ingredients, as well as their cooking methods. They must ensure not to expand too quickly so that they do not lose value and spread themselves too thin. Continuing to change with economic state factors, social factors, and the external environment will also ensure that they retain this competitive advantage.